Natalia Bonner. Welcome to the Free Motion Filler Frenzy lesson number 4. Today we're going to be quilting 2 fun free motion designs. We're going to quilt both the Jigsaw and the Slither designs. Now you know I'm having a lot of fun playing around with my threads, so of course I'm going to be using a couple of thread colors. I'm going to be using color number 460, this fun pink color, on my Jigsaw design, and then when we move to the Slither design, I'm going to be using Soap Fine color number 492. On my bobbin, I'm using bottom line color number 623. I love those threads. Alrighty friends, I'm going to be doing all of my quilting on a Gamble 22-inch machine. Yes, this is hand-guided quilting. Anybody on any machine can join and stitch along with me. If you're like me and working on a long arm, then most likely you'll want to work across your quilt from top to bottom, left to right. If you're working on a domestic or a sit-down machine, you're going to want to start in the center of your quilt and work your way out. Now, I'm quilting here on this fun panel that is available for purchase through honestfabrics.com, but you don't have to quilt on the same panel. Quilt on whatever you would like. If you have some fat quarters just laying around, create a few little quilt sandwiches and you're ready to start stitching. Let's have some fun and let's get stitching. Let's start today with this fun jigsaw design. This design, like all of the designs that I've shared so far in this free motion filler frenzy, I'm stitching it pretty small as a background filler. But you could make this design larger, really any size that you wanted, and quilt it across a whole entire quilt and end up with beautiful results. When I'm quilting this design, I'm thinking about quilting semicircles and alternating directions. I like my quilting to be consistent and filled in really evenly, so I'm using the lines from my jigsaw to fill in my background filler completely. Notice as I'm quilting out this design, I'm essentially stitching a half circle and then alternating directions. Sometimes when I get stuck in weird places, you'll notice that I'll just add an echo. When I'm stitching out these half circles, I'm not following any particular pattern. So I'm not stitching to one direction and then one another direction or anything like that. It's completely random, just stitching half circles and a few echoes until I've filled in my space completely. Because I do want the design to have some sharp points in it, each time I finish my half circle to create that sharp point, you almost want your needle to stop. Take a stitch to create that point and then continue stitching. So even though it's pretty fast that I'm stopping, there is a little stop in there to create that nice point. I'm working here on a panel, but I want those circles on the panel to almost appear as if they are appliqued. So right now I'm going to stitch this design right up around those shapes. Once I have my quilting complete on my whole quilt, then I'm going to switch thread colors to white and come back and quilt on each of those orange slices and circles with white thread. I'm doing this just so that my quilting will really stand out and there will be some high contrast, so it'll show up nice for you on camera. If this is your quilt, play around with threads. You could quilt these areas as you're going using the thread color that you use in that section. So right here, as I'm quilting, I could, if I was using the same color of thread, go right into outlining and then quilting on that circle. I hope you all found a bit of inspiration from this fun jigsaw design. I can't wait to see your quilting. Don't forget to share in our Piece and Quilt Show and Tell Facebook group. Up next, let's quilt a fun slither design. The slither design is a great design for gaining control of your machine, but it's also awesome once it's all quilted out. I am simply quilting lines with little waves in them, working across my designated space from left to right. As I'm stitching these little waves, I'm using the side of my foot. I do have a ruler foot here on my machine, but I'm using that side of my foot as a guide. Now, it's not a measuring guide, but kind of more as a reference guide. I don't want my lines at any point to be any closer than the side of my foot is from my previous stitch line. So I'm just kind of gauging and stitching little wavy lines back and forth to fill in that area completely. As I continue quilting and reach the point where I'm going to quilt to my circles, I'll quilt right to those, stop at the circle, and then go back across my quilt. I want these circles to look as if they're appliqued on the top, so I don't want to quilt over them. I want my lines to look like they go right behind them. Now, I didn't even measure or mark or count how many lines were on one side of the circle. I just kept going until the space was filled in completely. You'll notice how I treat my circles as if they are the side of the quilt or a border or something like that. I'll stitch right up to them, travel along the side of the circle, moving down, I would say a ½ inch-ish, and then continue stitching those lines. I hope you all found a bit of inspiration in this fun free motion filler frenzy lesson. Don't forget to share your progress in our Piece and Quilt Show and Tell Facebook group. Have a great day, everybody.